answer them all at the end. I'll pass the word now to Luca to give us the engineering updates.
Thank you, Angie. Happy New Year, everybody. Alberto is connected too, so I'll just pass it to him for now. And since the engineering team almost never stopped working in these 2 weeks, today we have many updates. So, Alberto, welcome. And do you want to start with Zendoo?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Luca. Okay, so let's start from certificate quality. So in the last 2 weeks, we continued and completed the final code review sessions about the certificate quality implementation. So a few more changes were requested, and the changes were implemented, reviewed again, and approved. So the certificate quality is currently developed and finished. Always regarding Zendoo, we proceeded with the seized sidechain withdrawal mechanism. And this is something that, is related to the main chain part of the seized sidechain withdrawal and not specifically to the circuit implementation. So, we proceeded with this in parallel with the certificate quality. And just to have a short recap, this is the mechanism that allows a user to withdraw the funds from a sidechain that is considered. So, if for any reason a sidechain is going to cease, our model have a mechanism that allows the users to withdraw the funds from that sidechain. And consider that, this doesn't imply the interaction with the sidechain. So the, magical thing about this mechanism is that the user will be able to prove to have some coins in the sidechain without having to interact with the sidechain itself. And so, and these will allow him to withdraw them and have them available again on the main chain, even if the sidechain was seized. So, in the last 2 weeks, we were able to complete the design of the changes that are needed on Zendy, and this has been analyzed in details, and we already started with the related development activities. And in particular, so far we already did most of the core structural changes, and all the changes that are needed. For example, we have to introduce some specific output in a transaction that allows you to provide the proof and the claimed coins and so on, and this part has been already finished, and we are now working on the verification logic of the proof and the collection of the public inputs that are needed to be provided to the proof verification. Okay, and this was related to the seized sidechain withdrawals. Always related to the Zendoo activities, we started working on the main chain backward transfer request. And this is another type of the so-called main chain managed withdrawals, as it is the seized sidechain withdrawal. And it's used to, let's suppose that, very, 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 very quickly. Let's suppose that you have a sidechain that is totally maliciously controlled, and that is even, censoring withdrawal requests on the sidechain side. So because it's completely maliciously controlled. We want we wanted to provide a way for the user to be able to withdraw his coins, even in such extreme situations. So we have a sort of a request that can be performed on main chain that, how to say, force the sidechain to process it and to answer to it. And so if the circuit on the sidechain side when process this request, if this request is legitimate, requires to add the relative withdrawals in the next certificate, if the circuit is written in that way, a user will be able to withdraw his funds even with a completely maliciously controlled sidechain. And so we've been working on the design of the changes that were needed to introduce the functionality on the ZD, and we already started the development activities. And so you will hear more about these also during the next weeks. Okay, now switch topic and let's go on with the proving system. As you probably will remember, before Christmas, we announced that our research demonstrated a huge performance improvement on the recursive proof composition timings. And I mean, we have been working on a proving system with an accumulation and deferred validation scheme that allowed to significantly cut some of the most expensive operations that are needed by the intermediate proofs. I mean, we were able to cut on the intermediate. We are able to cut on the intermediate proofs some very expensive operations, and defer them just at the end. I mean, for example, at the end of the ebook. And so this is let me say a modification on the proven system that we have been designing, and currently we're working on. We had several sessions with the developers of the proving system. I mean, the team of that is working on the proving system, and we have been sharing the ideas behind this improved design. And we're identifying all the changes that are needed on the proving system implementation. For example, as I was saying before, we're going to change the intermediate proof structure to carry on the needed accumulators, and obviously we are going to change the proof verifier and the prover to manage these additional elements accordingly. So this is just an example of the many changes we are looking in detail in this session let me see, between the proving system team members. And the implementation of these changes will follow. I think that this is something that is going to happen very soon. Maybe even from the next week, we will be able to start implementing the changes accordingly to the new design of the proving system. And obviously, as you remember, we also proceeded with the GPU improvements, and in particular, in the last 2 weeks, we were able to get the Changelly integrated with our GPU improvement code, and getting Marlin rebuild using Changelly instead of the ZXL library. So because we started, let me say, doing these GPU optimizations on some library, but then we wanted to port all the changes integrated in Changelly, so to have everything, I mean, in a unique library. And all these has been completed and tested, and all the benches were reran to check that everything was working properly. And so no slowdown on the algorithms after switching to this implementation integrated with Changelly. Next step is porting also the CPU improvement as well in Gingerlib. Okay, and that's it regarding the proving system. Okay, and coming next is circuits. Okay, regarding the circuits, we already start developing the Rust circuit SDK, and in particular, we have been working on a way to create base transaction circuits that are customizable in a way that you can easily add new rules, new transactions, and in addition to the ones that are provided by our model. In parallel, we kept working on the design of the multiple circuit that we have developed. And in design, writing a specification, a very detailed specification of all the witnesses, all the public inputs, and all the statements that needs to be proven for each of the circuit that we have to develop. So, and this was an enormous work that we had to do, but it's very useful for the development phase, because the developer now has a very clear idea of what are the witnesses, what are the public inputs, and what has to be proven, and so what are the things that needs to be checked. And so this was another very important step in the circuit implementation. By the way, we have already started also working on some part of the circuits, and this is something that we are going to work on for the next weeks. Okay, and this is related to the circuit, and let's switch to another topic that is the bit vector. And especially on the SDK side. In reality, as you probably remember, we are using our model have a way for dealing with data availability attacks. So this is something that are a very dangerous thing that if not managed properly by the design can be an issue. So our model take in consideration these, and so we're able to provide a way for the user to withdraw their funds, even if the decision was totally maliciously controlled, and even if the data behind the states committed in the main chain are completely unknown. So someone took the control of the sidechain, hide the blocks, hide everything, committed the state, and everything. Was conformant to the circuit, but no one knows the data, no one can continue the history. So how the user will be able to prove that he still has some coins in the sidechain? So we have designed a solution that allows to do that and allows you to prove that you had some coins in the past and that coins are still there. And this is done by, publishing a bit vector that keeps track of the position of the UTXOs that has been kept untouched for some epochs. So, but okay, beyond these details, we have to keep track of this bit vector, and so we are working on a Merkle tree, UTXO Merkle tree implementation on the sidechain side that automatically keep tracks of this bit vector every time you move at UTXO and so on. We'll keep track of it, and so at the end of the epoch will be very easy from the SDK perspective to retrieve the bit vector in the compressed in the compressed form, and publish it within the certificate, and have all the data already calculated. So this is something that the Bitvector is already implemented, but we are currently integrating a unique extraction that it will be called the Zenbox Merkle tree, and this will be exposed, and this functionality will be exposed to the SDK. Okay, the very last topic, sorry to be so long today, is the Sidechain Explorer. It was mentioned in the last Weekly Insider, and we have been working on the SDK in order to allow the future support of a Sidechain Explorer. So we finished to implement the WebSocket server architecture on the Sidechain node, and we added the needed endpoints by the Sidechain Explorer. So currently, also the unit test, integration tests were added to. So now we are ready for a first code review iteration of this Sidechain Explorer. And yeah, probably this is all for today from our side. Back to you, Luca.
That was great. Thank you, Alberto. Back to Angie for now.
Thank you, Alberto Luca, for the great updates. Let's continue with Alan to give us some of the node system updates.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Got a quick update on the secure and super nodes. It seems that since the happening, the block time has increased. So we made an adjustment for the number of blocks per period. And it usually was 570 blocks, but we found that the time had drifted for the period from 24 hours to more than 24 hours. Usually we try to target 1 a.m. UTC as the end of an earning period for both systems. And the time had drifted to about 7 a.m. So we made an adjustment back on December 22nd to reduce the number of blocks from 570 to 560, thinking it was taking about 10 days to get back to about a 1 a.m. End of period. But it seems like the times, we still have some hiccups. For example, yesterday we expected the period to be about 20 minutes earlier, but it was an hour and a half later. So I'm not quite sure, haven't looked at what's going on there. But we will continue to have a slightly shortened number of blocks per period for a few more days until we can get back to that 1 a.m. Along with that, I have been working on backlog of bugs in the tracking system and also updating all of the outdated node modules that have to be brought up to date to stay current so that we don't have any issues with those. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Alan. Let's continue with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a nice holiday. On the growth side, we're helping with a couple of things right now. First of all, we're reviewing the main menus of all the pages to make sure that they're consistent and accurate. We went ahead and are adding new merchants to the merchants page. We've had a lot of new updates on the exchange front, so we're making sure that that's reflected on the website. We're also helping Lucy updating the technology page, updating the news page, and we're also this week building a new Zen node page. So just a lot of front end tasks that we've been knocking out. And that's it for me this week. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan. Let's continue with Lucy to give us the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Jonathan, and Happy New Year, everyone. So I hope you had a great holidays and enjoyed some time off. So 2020 was a very eventful and very turbulent year, but wasn't easy for most people and companies. But we pulled through and delivered some of the biggest releases in the history of our project, and ended the year very, very strongly. We released that 2020 annual report with the details. So here are some highlights from the 2020 report. So we had a total of 105.18% in community growth. That's a very, very big growth, considering that we started off with a very large community already. And then we added a French Telegram community, thanks to our French ambassador Manon. And we had 3 Zen core software releases and 2 new white papers, 9 node tracking system releases, 28 new exchanges and integrations, and also 4 sidechain partnerships. We had 339 media mentions and interviews, and 39 events worldwide. So you can see the full details in our annual report published on our news portal. So we will keep delivering and growing and going to 2021 full steam ahead. So for the marketing team, we will be focusing on continuing our PR effort on partnership announcements and campaigns, and building industry thought leadership with media mentions and interviews and event opportunities. And also, as always, we will keep improving our community communications and engagement. So we are already expecting some new and really exciting partnerships that I hope we can share with you guys very, very soon this month. And last month, just before the holidays, we released our new sidechain partnership with LTO Network. So we will work with the with LTO Network to build a dedicated private blockchain on Horizen for their users. So you can read about this partnership on our news portal. So we have more news partnerships coming up, so please stay tuned. That's it from me. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Lucy. Now let's welcome Dean to give us the BD and operations updates.
Thanks, Angie. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. So yeah, I have some very exciting updates, but I will let the appropriate team member share those with us. So starting off with Vano and some really exciting integrations. Vano?
Thanks, Dean. Hello, everyone. So as we witnessed it last year, Horizen markets have been maturing a lot post-halving, with new exchange listings, new USDT, merging and perpetual pairs, increased volume and liquidity, and a new use case for the Zen as a borrowable asset at Binance. And we have added 2 more new listings since our last weekly insider again. One of which has already been announced on our social media and platforms, and it is Binance US. This listing is particularly exciting for our US-based community and partners, as Binance US is a US licensed and regulated exchange open in 42 states for now. And listed pairs are USD and USDT, and liquidity is already quite good there. Binance US listing adds a lot of to our USA liquidity, and we are very thankful for them to be our partners. Next up, you already know that OKX added a USDT merging pair for Zen towards the end of last year, and we now have a Zen USDT perpetual pair as well, in addition to that merging pair. Another news is on the transparency front, and I think everyone agrees that Horizen is a very transparent project and open project with community. And to improve upon that, Horizen has joined Messari's disclosure registry. This initiative enhances our transparency even more as a project, and it helps build trust with our community and anyone looking to better understand our project. Messari's registry is an open source disclosures database which aims to become a central repository for project information that can be freely accessed industry-wide. It also powers many crypto and blockchain information websites with fact-checked information there. And our profile page contains such information as well, and everyone is welcome to have a look. That's all from me, and I'm passing it to Kaspers now.
Thanks, Vano. Hi, everybody. Good to hear and see you all in the new year. I hope you had safe and restful holidays, and you're feeling great about the 2021. On the BD side, since we started to actively target sidechain partnerships in October last year, we have had good success being able to sign 5 MOUs over the 4th quarter, but only with one of them announced so far, as Lucy mentioned, the LTO network. And I would like to note that LTO network is a notable player in the blockchain world. It's one of those projects with real paying companies, clients, and is able to already display real-life use case of blockchain technology in a corporate environment. So through our partnership, LTO and Horizen will work together to build a dedicated sidechain, providing enhanced privacy and additional anchorage for LTO networks client transactions and to bring their business identification product to Horizen. So we are really happy about this partnership and believe it's a great addition to our ecosystem. And as Lucy said, you will find more interesting details about this partnership added on our website in our blog. The other partnerships, which are not yet announced, are also very interesting and exciting. And one of them is actually a top 50 project. So the names and partnerships are expected to be made public over the next couple of months. So watch out for more updates from our marketing team and us. Regarding the day-to-day BD activities, we will continue focusing on bringing new sidechain partnerships over the next months. We expect the activity to pick up again, starting from this week, following the holiday season. And we have 5 calls scheduled already this week and more calls coming during the next weeks. So that's it from me. Thanks and Happy New Year to all.
Back to you, Angie. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Let's continue with Rosario for product and engineering.
Happy New Year's, guys. It was, and Happy New Year to the best crypto community, the Horizen community. This was the first time that part of the team took some time off, and I personally feel recharged and ready to take on this new year. We have significant milestones that are going on for this year, and that includes the Zendoo going live on mainnet and the Lattice implementation being audited by a third party, and hopefully more in 2021. And from the Horizen Labs product side, we aim to bring some side chains from our partners like Celsius, Enigma, Secoba, and LTO Network and others onto mainnet. So that's going to be our big focus for this year. We have our hands full and ready to take on the year. Thank you, and Happy New Year, guys.
Thank you, Rosario. Rolf, would you like to share any updates or comments?
Sure. Happy New Year. It's so exciting when Bitcoin goes up in price so much, when Ethereum goes up in price so much. It brings lots of new people to every single crypto out there. And I talk with people and they're like, wow, Bitcoin's so expensive. I'm looking at other things to get into. And then when people start looking at Ethereum and the high transaction fees, they look for other types of projects that have the ability to do smart contracts and other things like that. So I think we're really well positioned for this year. I think having side chains go live on the main chain this year is great timing, and we've done so much to lay the groundwork for the past few years to demonstrate to people that we're a serious, reliable project with vision and a strong team. So this is going to be a fun year. Thanks. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Rolf. And now let's welcome Rob for the final part in Q&A session.
Thank you, Angie, and awesome sentiments and updates from everyone here. Honestly, I'm blown away by all the work that's been going on over the holidays. Like Rosario said, some of us took a little bit of downtime. The project was really put down to critical manning just to keep things going. But the engineering team kept on powering through. And you can see we're kicking off the year with just a tremendous amount of work that's been ongoing on racing towards getting Zendoo to mainnet. So as we talk about priorities and as we start putting together our 2021 roadmap, you can probably guess, and obviously I've been saying this over and over, but our number one priority for the year is getting Zendoo to mainnet. And we talked towards the end of last year about 2 different options for getting it to mainnet. One that ended up being a de-risked option. Basically, let's figure out exactly what we need to get to mainnet, and then we can have other things as nice to have options. Well, critical things as we go, in particular with the full Lattice implementation, but not things that need to be bundled into a single delivery, things that we could actually unbundle and work on them in parallel and make sure that we are emphasizing resources on the critical path for getting Zendoo to mainnet as quickly as possible in a secure and professional way. which obviously we always do with software development. So this is a huge year for us, and what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks is we're going to be internally just finalizing these roadmap details, and you've heard some snippets from different divisions. I'm going to be talking to the different division heads and just going over priorities, making sure that all the priorities per division map to just a big strategic vision. Then we need to socialize this with you, the community, get feedback, and we'll package this up into an official roadmap for the year. And then we'll be checking out progress as we go, so you can all just have as transparent a view on what we're doing as possible. So as we that's our main focus. But what does this do for us, and why is there such a major emphasis on it? It's because getting Zendoo to mainnet and all of the tools that make it possible for people to launch sidechains, as well as us, but also all of the different partners that you've heard about, our design partners and potential clients from partners and our own clients from companies like Horizen Labs. You're going to see a flurry of activity of real world use cases that go along with this technology. So it's not just about building this cool technology and getting it to market. We're also simultaneously going out to the market and getting a feeler for, is there demand for what we're doing? Are we actually solving a critical value proposition in this very sometimes perception of crowded marketplace? And the answer is absolutely yes. And we're seeing much more demand than we ever thought we would. Not that we didn't have confidence in what we're doing, but once we actually started getting out there and talking to people, in particular other public blockchain projects and private blockchain projects, we realized that we've tapped into a gold mine here. And I don't mean gold mine from like a monetary perspective. I mean gold mine from just like a demand perspective. There's so much demand for the technology that we're delivering. And this just makes me extremely bullish and just absolute clarity that we're on the right track, and we're going to be focusing our resources on getting this product to mainnet as quickly as possible and as responsible a way. And by that, again, I mean in a de-risked fashion. And then we're going to have these other important technology deliveries with the full Lattice implementation and a whole bunch of use cases that go along with it. But what's really exciting, and what I want to make sure it gets into the roadmap, what it enables us is we have to keep pushing hard for real decentralization. And if you go back to the early days of Bitcoin, and I was doing a little research of this for my own academic research, but if you look at governance in public blockchain systems, they very much started out as benevolent dictatorships. And from there, they have to evolve. If we're building actual protocols that are going to scale to the world and to many different types of use cases, and you want these things that we talk about, like immutability and censorship resistance, these systems have to be decentralized. So we cannot continue down a path where we have discretionary authority in certain individuals, to the extent that we can do something about it. Well, what Zendoo on mainnet gives us is the technology where we can do something about it. So that's what we're going to do. And towards the end of the year, I want to have at least designed, if not already started work on the core technology infrastructure systems that decentralize our ecosystem. So for these, we've been talking about them. Those who've been with the community for a while know what I'm going to say. But we have a node system that has software that does tracking, has software that does payments, and has server clusters that track all of this stuff. We need to decentralize it. So getting the node tracking and payment system decentralized and automated is an absolutely critical piece of infrastructure that I want to at least have sketched out by the end of the year. By that, I mean on a sidechain system, like on its own sidechain that does that. The other big thing that we have here is we have a resource pool in the treasury. And right now you have the foundation that makes decisions on how to allocate those resources. We're transparent about how we're allocating them, hint, hint on Zendoo and that core technology to get it to market. But as we go forward, we have to decentralize this. We have to decentralize how resources are allocated. And the vision here is to democratize it. So we have an actual voting system where Zen is used as a stake that gives you the right to vote for how resources are allocated in the system. So towards the end of the year, the vision is to actually have a voting system designed for a sidechain. So a sidechain that can actually solicit votes, information from the community. Community members can directly vote on proposals that they want to actually fund, and then automate how resources are allocated to different projects. with this sidechain system. So that's something that, for sure, we're not going to be able to deliver that in 2021. But what we will deliver is the sidechain technology that makes it possible, and then we can get work on the designs for these things. And then we can start programming work and planning this type of work towards the end of the year that will go into 2022. The other thing, and this is something that's I think offers a lot of different opportunities, is to think about, can we build things like a privacy sidechain, so like a shielded pool sidechain. This is something we've been talking about for a while. It's an idea, and I think it's going to be something that might be controversial for some people. So it's an idea that I want to float out there towards the end of the year of, can we migrate the shielded pool from the main chain to its own sidechain? And there are a variety of reasons to do this, and probably some reasons not to do it. But what I think is absolutely critical is to get a vigorous community conversation over the year going about this topic. This can touch on regulatory issues, but I think it ultimately comes down to technology reasons for why I support the idea. At least now, with what I understand about it, I support it, but it's something that we have to flesh out on feasibility and then an actual path to make it happen. And if it is possible, what it could give us is a firewalled kind of security system for the shielded pool, so that if there ever were a bug in the shielded pool, it wouldn't impact the entire money supply, and therefore every single system and blockchain and sidechain that we ever build in our ecosystem, it would be contained to the sidechain, and therefore would be a significant risk reduction for the entire ecosystem. So anyway, these are the big things that I view on our roadmap strategically. Next step is we're going to be talking to all the division chiefs on it. We're going to clarify division priorities, make sure they're consistent with the big picture strategy, and then socialize this with the community. And socialization starts now. So this is going to be the year where we are marching towards our real decentralization. It's a process, like we've always said, we're doing this responsibly, but now we're finally getting that technology that's been contingent on to market. So it's a really big deal. It's going to be a really fun year. And guys, welcome to 2021. Angie, we can get back to you and open up to any questions that we might have.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob, for the great updates. And thank you, everyone, for contributing with your questions. So the first one is, still en route for sidechains to be summer 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. So, and this was the de-risking plan that we had, not de-risking, but the lower risk plan that we came up with towards the end of last year, that we designed and now is being implemented. This was what we call, I believe, option B, and this is very much on track. We're going to we haven't yet published the project plan for it, but the project plan is very much on track for what we said on summer 2021.
Great. The second question is, can you talk about LTO partnership?
Yeah, and maybe, so this is, I'll give you my two zennies on it, which I think is really cool, because this shows a type of product for us where we can work with a company that typically does blockchains for businesses. And these blockchains could be private, these blockchains can be consortium, they're blockchains for particular use cases, and we are a public blockchain partner. And there are also public blockchain. LTO itself is a public blockchain, but with products that they do for clients, we can add an auditing functionality. And this is a really cool product that we're working with Celsius, with Sacoba, and potentially with other business applications of blockchain, where we can use a dedicated sidechain to actually audit or anchor transactions from other chains that may or may not be public themselves. But let me actually, I don't know, Dean or Caspers, if you want to go into more detail with LTO, but there are actually specific projects, one in particular with a government project that we're bidding on with them. So really excited for that.
Hey, Rob, this is Dean. I'm happy to chime in. Yeah, so as you mentioned, LTO is a public blockchain, but they work with large enterprise and government institutions in the EU. And so we're working with them on actually two different projects. One is the audit chain that Rob mentioned, and the other is actually a potential plastic recycling project that Vano introduced us to, and LTO is the perfect partner for. But essentially, they would be building a recycling side chain in our ecosystem. So LTO will be building a side chain in our ecosystem to service a UN-sponsored project for recycling in the country of Georgia. So it's just a good example of us working together with other chains and helping bring sidechains to reality and real world business opportunities.
Great, thank you. And the third question is, what's the state of the DAO?
So hopefully I answered this in my piece here, but the state of the DAO is contingent on the sidechain system going to mainnet, and that's the main focus right now on the technology side. Once that happens, we want to start working on the design for the DAO. So again, just to reiterate, it is so important that we decentralize how resource decisions are made in the ecosystem, and this is a critical infrastructure project for it. It's very high on our priority list, but again, is contingent on getting the Zendu to mainnet.
Awesome. Okay, so that's a wrap. Thank you everyone for contributing with your questions and for also attending to our weekly insider. See you all next Monday for the latest Horizen updates. Have a great week, and we wish you all also a great 2021. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Happy
Thank
New Year.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye all.